This Spotlight episode of the Boss Rush Podcast is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to support the Boss Rush Network and our family of podcasts, head on over to our Patreon at patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. Thanks for your continued support.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Boss Rush Video Game Book Club, the Boss Rush Podcast's monthly Spoilercast and review discussion show about games that you have voted on. I am one of your hosts, Patrick Klein, and along me, as always, is the mad pharmacist herself, Stephanie Klimov.
Because I'm wearing sleeveless shirt today, I'm going to channel my inner Laurent and say what's poppin'. Joined here by my fluffy orange buddy and robotic companion.
Yeah, because that's actually going to be the main character that we're going to be talking about later tonight. Just in case if you didn't read the title of the podcast that you clicked on, we are talking about Stray, the cute, adorable orange cat. But before we get into that, we have ourselves a special guest all the way from Indonesia. We have Lala from Toge Productions. Lala, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. I'm Lala, the social media manager at Toge Productions.
Yeah. It's excited. I was happy that, I know that you're a lover of cats, so you were one of the first people that, I thought, hey, this would be a fun, show to actually get you on.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
we're excited to have you. We're excited that we got you a chance to play this game because this is the first time you played it yourself, right?
Yep. I bought it like 2 or a year ago, but just played it recently, so it's still fresh in my mind.
Nice. Yeah, I managed to go through it would be my third playthrough now. I played it originally when it came out, and I immediately played it again because I wanted to get all the achievements, and one of them was you had to speedrun the game in less than 2 hours.
Wow. 2 hours. Did you manage to do it?
Yep, I had 15 minutes left to spare.
Wow. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. So that was a proud achievement. But all right. So the game we're talking about tonight is Stray. As we just mentioned, it came out in 2022, July 19th, 2022. So you might be actually listening on its second year anniversary. The current platforms that you can play it on right now are PlayStation 5, Xbox, PC, I think maybe even mobile, I thought. I don't know if that was accurate, but it was just recently announced it's coming out on Switch this fall. So there are more chances for you to check this game out.
Mm-hmm.
The developer is BlueTwelve Studio, a first-time indie developer that was backed by Sony when producing this game, and the reception was very, very positive. People really loved the cat mechanics and the graphics and thought it told a very nice story.
Yes, it's so well received that it won Best Indie at the Game Awards and Best Debut Indie, which could be a point of contention for some because it was published by Annapurna, but still, it won those awards. So
yeah, BlueTwelve is a new studio, so
yeah,
very happy. Hopefully, we get a sequel here, but who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? All right. So, what'd you guys, I guess overall, what'd you guys think of, I guess we can go into thoughts later. We should probably hit housekeeping here quick.
yeah, get that
Before I
out of the
jump
way.
there. Yeah, let's get over the boring stuff here before we talk about the fun stuff. So, as you know, if you want to support the Boss Rush podcast and the Boss Rush Network, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/Boss Rush Network at a tier that is right for you, earning such perks such as early ad-free access to this and other podcasts, exclusive access to Spotlight interview, which we kind of have quite a few of them coming coming your way. I think Steph has at least 3 planned on recording here within this month. So she's going to be busy. But also, we have voting rights on the video game Boss Rush Book Club and more. So that is patreon.com/Boss Rush Network. But as always, your listenership and viewership is always enough for us. So if you're watching this video on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and leave us a thumbs up or a comment. Let us know what your favorite moment in Stray was and whether or not you'd like to see a sequel to this game. Also, if you're listening on the podcast services like Apple Podcasts, or Spotify, consider leaving us a 5-star rating and review. Check out our merch on TeePublic with over 50 designs to rep your favorite shows and more. And as always, you can check out all of our content, reviews, articles, and more on bossrush.net. That is a mouthful.
Yeah, but I just want to say TeePublic regularly has sales, so it's always worth it to check it out. And Corey does do, not because I know he's going to be editing this, but he does do a fantastic job with the various logos. Like there's logos for many different occasions and celebrations. So.
Yep. I think we had one recently for Pride Month, as well as Asian Pacific awareness, right?
Yep, I got that one in a baseball tee. It looks great.
Nice. Awesome. So, with that said, guys, what did we think about this game?
And
we're
also,
gonna. Oh,
sorry.
So go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, we all know how we played it. Maybe we should give the audience of like when and how we played it, too.
Yeah, sure. So, we're gonna do quick non-spoilers for people who are just like tuning in and just want to hear what our thoughts are before we jump into a full-on spoiler discussion. So, Steph, go ahead and start us off. How'd you play this game?
Sure, I played it day one on my PS5.
Nice. And what did you think of it?
Obviously, I loved it. There is a slight bias there because I too love cats. And in particular, orange cats. I have an orange cat myself, Paxel, so I have a little bit of an obsession with orange cats. But once I get over the cute aggression that I have for the type of animal, I do feel like it is a very solid game. It's an experience is kind of more the way I'll describe it because, and I think what the major pull to it is you are utilizing cat mechanics. There's a dedicated meow button. You can knock over things with your paw, and the way the cat leaps, there's a lot of platforming elements, and you have these skills and agility as a feline. And you're in this post-apocalyptic area where there's no humans left, lots of robots, lots of neon lights. So I think the art style was wonderful. The soundtrack behind it is pretty solid as well. If you're expecting crazy action, maybe not so much because you don't really have any combat. So as long as you're okay with that, which I was, and just wanted to go through this experience of a cat being separated from its family and finding a way to reunite with it, I thought it was overall a very solid game, especially coming from a brand new studio.
Yep. That's I fully agree with those sentiments too. Like I like those, like the fact that there is a dedicated meow button. Like I don't know about you, but I probably pushed that like several hundred times.
Same.
That's an achievement, right?
There's an achievement I think for doing over 100. Yeah.
Only for 100, not 1,000.
Only for 100. Yeah. No, I think 1,000 might have been pushing it a little bit. But there is an achievement for sleeping for an hour. You literally have the cat sleep, and then you go and you do other things and come back to see if you get your achievement.
That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a platinum kind of person. I'm good with
Yeah. Now there's some like I'm surprised I did platinum this one because of the time trial. I usually avoid those, but I figured I can do it with Stray. It seemed plausible. Lala, what did you think about this game?
Right. So I played Stray just recently. I think 2 weeks ago. I bought it not on the first day, but like I think a year or 2 years ago. I don't really remember, but I bought
Mhm.
it on a full price just because cats, obviously. So I really think it's totally enjoyable. I don't actually expect some action to be in it. Like I expecting like some exploration and then 3D platformer puzzle stuff. I did not expect any action, but even though I did not expect it, I think it's still totally enjoyable. Like the difficulty level, it's just perfect. I
Yes.
personally am not like an action like kind of player, so but I still like feel the enjoyment of the whole level of the whole game actually. So I think it's very great, and I played for like I think 12 hours straight or something. I literally like do it on the weekend, like finish it in like one sitting.
Mhm.
It was personally I think slow at first, but once you get into like the gameplay, the system, the world building and stuff, it gets so good to the point I can stop playing. Like I turn on my TV for from like 11 and then finish it at like 12 or something. So literally like I was just playing all day and it was still totally memorable, enjoyable. It was a great game, and yeah, I love it.
Nice. What was probably one of your favorite, like, I guess, moments in the game, would you say?
Oh, it's hard. I have so many, but I think one of my most favorite it's a bit hard not to spoil this one, but
Okay, we
oh,
could probably come back to that question.
okay. So
But
it's a bit spoilery, so I'll save it for later in the spoiler round.
okay, sounds good. Well, my thoughts are, very similar. Like I liked the precision, or I liked how they did the platforming with this game. With the cat, you obviously are jumping a lot, and a lot of frustrations could definitely come about with like maybe missing a jump. But the game itself actually ties it to that you can see a platform and then a button prompt for the jump button pops up, and your cat will automatically jump to that spot without you having to worry about missing your jump or like miscalculating or falling into a pit and having to redo the whole level all over again. It also helps you with navigation so that you know what you can jump on and what you can't. So I really appreciated that because I played some other cat games just recently. There was one called Little Kitty Big City,
I
and
know that
you
one.
know that the jumping mechanic wasn't quite as good in that one. That one, like you actually had to judge where you jumped and how far you could jump. So it made it, in my opinion, just a little more frustrating than like how Stray does it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Uh,
Stray was a lot more smooth, and the other one, and not it was a great game
yeah,
otherwise. It just felt more clunky and clumsy, which clearly is my own fault as a player, but if you're playing as a cat, that's not very cat-like.
Mm,
that's right. Cats
yeah,
always land on their intended location,
yeah,
no questions, and on their feet.
Mm-hmm.
yep.
hmm Uh, but yeah, I also really like that meow button. Like would just play it during cutscenes, and because your cat would still meow during the cutscenes, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
you
Wait, you
just
can meow during cutscene?
there are some cutscenes that maybe someone's talking, you could just be like meow meow.
Ah, I see.
Yeah,
Okay, I didn't
that,
know that.
that was one of my favorite ones. All right. But that's kind of our non-spoilery impression. So this is your warning, people. If you do not want to get spoiled, we recommend go check out the game right now and come back to us. We would say we would wait, but in all honesty, we're not going to wait, and you can just restart the podcast again.
Right, I was going to say, especially for those that intend on buying it for Switch and playing it for the first time on the Switch, because as much as Corey jokes about complaining that this cat will not go away, I do feel like adding Stray to Nintendo Switch is going to provide additional sales. For those, I definitely do recommend hitting pause, playing it, and coming back. As far as spoilers, I don't know if you would agree with me, Pat. Like, yes, there are technically spoilers. It's, I would say, up to the individual, because I feel like the story is not necessarily unpredictable. It's not terribly unpredictable either. It's not one of the like video games that just once it's ruined for you, it's ruined forever.
Yeah.
But if you're a Switch
There's-
player and never played Stray, we do recommend it, or I
Yeah.
recommend it at least.
There's really only one character that kind of has a spoiler behind it,
Yeah.
but in all honesty, you know, it's still about enjoying the game. I mean, if you just want to listen to this podcast even without having played it, that's cool too. We're not trying to
Yeah.
deter you. You know, we encourage everyone to listen and or enjoy the game. So with that said, let us jump right into spoilers. Guys, I don't know about you, but the very first chapter of this game, actually like the very first 2 chapters of this game, set a tone that almost made me not want to play this game.
Oh yeah, how so?
Well, I am one of those people that I do not like seeing any injury or like
Oh.
harm to animals, very particularly cats. And so the game's beginning sets a very dark tone. That luckily, you know, lightens up when you finally hit the neon lights of the city.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, you brought back the
I totally
memory.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The game starts off very cute though. Like it starts off with you and 3 other cats, and you do cat-like things with these cats. It's adorable. They play, they meow at each other, and then they take a cute little nap.
It's a great introduction to mechanics, is basically what it is.
It's like a tutorial kind of
Yes.
like stage, but like very, 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 very well done, I guess.
Oh, very, very much so. Like you get to learn how to interact with like the other cats. You learn how to meow. And more importantly, you learn about the whole jumping mechanics and for that. But shortly during this tutorial, your cat unfortunately is the last one to drop on a very creaky pipe, and the pipe unfortunately does not hold, and your cat somehow drops like 100 stories. And
I almost cried.
oh,
Me too.
that
Me too.
Dancing like literally like
Was
gasping.
limping.
Oh my god.
I know that's the thing. That's what hurt so much is you saw the cat limping. It like
I
meowed
know.
weakly, and then it just kind of collapsed, you know, like injured. And it's like,
Exactly.
what
And
is
like you
going?
can see it's kind of like the legs, like they hurt their legs, and I was like, I cannot.
The animation of cat movement, it was
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
spot on. It's very accurate.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
I think they did do motion capture with an actual cat for this game.
Yeah, I saw a clip like they literally like use a real cat and do motion captures with that cat and stuff.
Yep. Unfortunately, the cat was not a orange cat; it was a brown cat.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know, they
Cats
can
are
do in those orange cat behaviors.
Yep.
But luckily, the cat just needed to take a quick little nap, and then it was able to start walking on all fours again, thankfully. But then
They should have just hired Paxel. Sorry. Paxel's joined.
Paxel, yeah, Paxel can Paxel land on all 4?
Yes, she can.
Very nice. She probably would have made that just. Aw, that's adorable. Yep. If you're not watching on YouTube, Paxel is currently putting both paws on Stephanie's face.
Yep.
Sorry,
And
keep going.
there.
Yep. I wish I could do that to my cat. Unfortunately, she would scratch
Same.
me.
Same. Like my cat, for some reason, hates cuddles. So
Aw.
I need to forcefully cuddle them for like 10 seconds, and they just like, no, no.
Get away! You're violating
Yeah.
my independence.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the same with my cat Zelda. The only time she will cuddle is when she wants to cuddle. She is the one in
Ah,
charge.
so I'm jealous. My cats never wants to cuddles at all.
Oh.
Or maybe when they want to cuddles, they keep like some distance with me. Like they still keep like, this is my space. You cannot violating my space.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mhm.
So,
Aw.
but that's
Oh.
okay. It makes her even cuter.
It's that forbidden fruit that you want but you just can't have.
Yep,
Crazy.
exactly.
Uh, well, unfortunately for Stray, or the cat and Stray, the want is to get back to its little family of cats, but there's no way it can climb up the wall, so it needs to find another way. But this captures the attention of something that opens up a door and allows the cat, we call it, you can call it Stray or the cat. They don't actually give the cat the name, but it allows the cat to go and explore the very decrepit, very crowded city, dirty city,
Yeah.
Mhm.
in a city that's crawling with very, very gross looking tick bugs with
I
one
know they're like
eyeball.
a mutation of like a tick and a grub with like a big
Hmm.
eyeball. It's
Yep.
really nasty. I'm like, what the heck? I know we ain't in Kansas anymore.
Hmm. And we find out later that these things are called zerks,
Yep.
but they have a hunger. They like to eat just about anything, but of course they would love to have some, some roasted cat on the spit. So they start chasing Stray until Stray finally manages to maneuver through them, and he gets into an apartment where the presence that's kind of guiding Stray points out, it's like, hey, you need to go this way, come that way, guiding him through like lighting up just various signs to convince the cat to move forward. And you
Mhm.
also get to experience some of the more interesting puzzles, such as knocking over paint cans and using them to stop a grate, an air fan, which was
Yeah.
creative.
Yeah, this was
Mhm.
a fun little section, just of the creativity of like where the neon lights kind of
Yep.
flash up to kind of guide you where you're going. And the
Mhm.
platforming in particular in the beginning was very fun.
Hmm.
I also agree. Like I studied graphic design, and I was really satisfied by like the hints and like just the neon signs to tell you where you go. I think it's very clever. Like they're using color theory at its best. And yeah, it's very visually entertaining and satisfying, I guess. But I actually, since I played like 12 hours straight, it kind of hurts my eyes because I stared like at neon like colors for so long. It kind of hurts my eyes. So I
Mm.
took some time off, like an hour or 30 minutes, I forgot, and then come back for it, and no problem.
Hmm. Yep, we here at the Boss Rush community definitely recommend
Mm,
that you take breaks. Maybe not every
true.
15 minutes like a Nintendo system would tell you to, but space it out a little bit. Just get a chance, move around, drink some water, stay
Yep.
hydrated. It's hot out there.
Exactly. Mhm.
And also, I don't know if you guys noticed, Stray. If you bring Stray over to like little canisters of water, you can get them to
Oh yeah.
drink from the water, which was kind of cute. Like, and they're scattered all over. They don't really have any purpose other than just to show off a cat animation of cats literally drinking from sources of water, like
Mm.
they do.
Mhm.
Seriously, I'm pretty sure Zelda would like my cat would literally drink the water out of my bathtub before she drinks out of her food dish or her water
My
bowl.
cat actually prefers to drink from the tap water instead of the water that I gave to her, like in her own little bowl. Like she's just like prefer like a running water, I guess,
Hmm.
better than the
Interesting.
regular one.
Yeah.
That's what I hear too. So I got packs of like a little running water fountain,
Hmm.
Ah,
but
I got that one too.
she wants to drink from a cup. She sees me drink from a cup, and she's always trying to drink from my cup. So I have to get her own cup that she thinks is my cup, so she'll drink from the cup.
That is actually very smart. Because I think cats are naturally drawn to cups. Not only to check out what's in it, but then to knock it over later.
I mean, my cat also, whenever she got a chance to like drink from a cup, she will. So, cats being cats.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
All right. Well, speaking of cats being cats, this cat meets a brand new friend. Once you finally get into this flat, a giant computer screen is like, "Hey, you know, I'm here in this room. Like, can you speak to me?" And then you can do a cat-like thing and jump all over the keyboard
The
and make,
keyboard, yeah.
absolutely nonsensical words. And maybe sometimes post a outstanding and viral tweet if you're a cat.
Like Sarah does.
Yep. That was a great story. You should just to put a little plug in. You guys should check out a little game called Moses and Plato that's being published
Yep.
by Toge. They
Yeah.
they hired a cat for the social marketing team because it shot off their most viral tweet ever.
Thank you for the plug-in, Pat. I was kind of hesitating. Can I really like plug in our games to like, but
We'll definitely give you a chance to plug in at the end of the show here.
yeah, thank you.
Hmm. But yeah, so the robot's like, okay, I can't understand you, so tell you what, just go into this room and try to find me like a body of some sort. And sure enough, after you're doing some puzzles, you find this cute little droid body, a B12
Yes.
droid,
Details.
and the computer then,
It's so cute.
yep, it's adorable, and it's a very adorable thing in the game. The
I
computer
know.
uploads its consciousness into this little droid, and then the cat immediately goes into cat mode and starts smacking it,
Hmm.
which is,
Mhm.
what cats do.
It is what cats do. Same thing as when B12 had like that backpack fitted for the cat, and the cat just like
Uh,
would take a step and like flop to the side. I'm like, that is
yeah.
exactly what cats do.
Uh, yeah.
That's so
Again,
cute.
I don't think Zelda will ever let me put something on her. I don't know how you get Paxel to do it.
She
Same.
did what Stray does. She'll hobble and then flop to the side, and then if I refuse to take it off, she'll eventually just get used to it.
There we go. That's the
I
secret.
can,
Don't
yeah.
give in.
True, true. I can't even like put a collar on my cats because for some reason they always have a way to
Oh,
kind of like um put it off. I have no idea how they do it, but you know, one day I put collars to them, next day it's gone.
That reminds me of when my cat got spayed, and we gave her a donut collar. She kicked
Oh,
that thing
that's so
off.
cute.
I got cute pictures for that, but she managed to kick it off the next morning and is like, you know what? I can't have you wear this if you're not going to wear it. So luckily
mhm.
she didn't bother her stitches, but
Oh.
it was adorable. She made the cutest face with the donut. Just that showed her displeasure. I'll have to
Mhm.
I'll have to put it on my Twitter here. Anyways, so yep, we now have a friend, B12, and B12 helps Stray by finding items, digitizing those items, and then you can now use them, such as unlocking keypads or other things that eventually come in your that come in puzzle form.
I believe at the time that you meet B12, right? Isn't B12 not truly aware of what
What?
they were?
Yep.
So that's
Mhm.
the whole mystery behind this B12. So even though it's this sentient being in the computer, which maybe at first blush we're thinking this must be some sort of AI, because we'll soon
Mhm.
talk about who the inhabitants in this dead city and the slums are. But B12's like, I don't know what I was. I'll figure it out.
It's like I had a human friend, and the human wanted to try to save mankind, and so I'm following the wishes of my human friend.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So that's kind of like a subplot. So main plot is find cat family. Subplot mysterious, sentient
Yep.
True, true.
robot.
Find out what is B12 and what its purpose is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I really wish they actually do more topics like in game about like those sentience being, which
Hmm.
I hopefully on the Stray 2, I guess. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
even know if there will be like Stray 2, but like if there is, there will be Stray 2, like the second one. I really hope like they kind of like talk more about like those sentience being, like how they got there and how the human extinct and stuff, from
Hmm.
those set of stories, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, there are some very interesting stories about this. I don't recall them going too deep into uh, the robots that you eventually run into when you get to the slums, and you
Mm-hmm.
find out that there are people populating this, but they're not people. They are robots with cute little
Yep.
like 8-bit faces that like
Mm-hmm.
they either emote or just like do these like cute little like teardrops or like anger
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
frustration faces.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Deering, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Keel, and Todd Oxtra. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network.
But yeah, it'd be very interesting to find out more about that. But we come into the city. The people are scared to death because outside of robots, the only other thing you see around is the Zergs, and so they think the cat's going to eat them, like a Zerg. But when they find
Yeah.
out that the cat's not going to eat them, or at least they're pretty sure the cat's not going to eat them, they decided to open up the town and say, "Hey, you want to go outside? There's this dude named Momo. He lives way up there in
Yeah.
this skyscraper area. Go talk to him because he's a crazy one."
Yeah. I actually like one of my favorite things that I cannot talk about earlier is on the slums you get to meet like the guys who collect the music sheets, I
Yep.
guess. I forgot the guy's name, but I think it's one of my most favorite because like I would just like grab like random music sheets and give it to him and he will play and I can sleep beside him. And it was like the cutest thing ever. Like I feel like since the audio or like the music is kind of silent, I guess, like
Hmm.
there's not much music or
Like
audio going
ambient.
on. Yeah,
Yeah.
ambience, it's only the ambience. So music really like gave it a very nice touch, like even though it's not like permanently implemented in the level, but still there's like some kind of music like makes it,
Hmm.
even more human, I guess. Like
Oh yeah, and plus this is like very unique music. It's almost like
Mhm. Yeah.
like chiptune guitar, 8
Yeah,
bit.
yeah, yeah.
Like I think one of the songs is literally called Unknown, and it's just like a random like mix of notes that just sounds
Yep.
absolutely horrible.
Yeah,
But luckily,
I
it's only
and it was
42
so
notes.
long. It was so long for no reason. Like when this music will going to end, like it's so horrible.
Yeah.
But
No,
yeah.
this is definitely where the game switches from its darker tone to a more
Yes.
lighthearted tone when you meet these
Yep.
citizens. Each one's kind of got their own little personality. You got some lazy robots, you got some like super genius robots, you got a nice little old nanny robot who eventually makes your little poncho.
I love
That
that one. Yeah. It
it
really looked and felt like a city inhabited by quote unquote living things. And as we'll talk throughout like the chapters, because this is the slums. So it's like almost relatable in a sense that this is kind of considered the underbelly of society. So you kind of wonder, like, man, how these people kind of get put here? Was there like some sort of like classism system in this robotic society? So as odd as it is in a world with no more humans, or at least no more humans that we know of, they sure made it feel like a real place.
very much, very true.
True. True.
And it's cool because this also opens up. It allows you to do those side quests, such as finding music sheets, or just some of the other things that you can do going around town to search for, like cans, so that you can purchase other items along the way. But the idea is you finally make your way to Momo in the story, and Momo's utterly depressed. He had four friends, and the four friends, they called themselves the Outsiders because their number one goal is to get outside. Um, but he kind of was the one that was left behind. All his other ones kind of went forward, and he has no way to talk to them because the one transceiver that he has is not working. So he's bummed. He's like, well, I had friends. They have the same notebook as I do. Go find their notebooks if you really want to do something. And so you go around. All the friends lived in the upper side of the slums, or the top portion. So you looked for these symbols of the outsider, which kind of look like a sad face. It's like two dots and like a
Mhm.
half broken circle.
Mhm.
Um, And eventually you find all these diaries that one of them kind of had an idea, hey, this is how you fix the transceiver. So Momo, finally getting his spark back, is like, all right, I'm going to send you up to this tower. It's way over there. It's way past Zerg territory. I'm sending you because you're faster. You'll live.
Mhm.
I'll get eaten
Because
by
they're
these
fast.
things. So
Yeah.
he lets you out the window and then he closes it behind him. What a good guy.
Yeah. I was actually a bit panicking at that point because he just like closed his windows and I was like, wait, I can't go back? Like,
Yep,
Mhm.
it's one of
how?
those point of no returns. What if I miss a side quest?
Yeah,
Right,
exactly,
exactly.
exactly. Yeah, and I was a bit like shocked by like how abrupt like the window was closing, and then I was wait, I can go back and have nowhere to go but to
Mhm.
the transfer tower and stuff. But I actually at the very first like stage of the game, I thought the Zergs is friendly
Oh no, they were
because it
giving you
was so cute.
hugs.
Yeah, exactly. But I thought it was cute, and oh, what is this? Like some cute little guy that I can be friend with. And then on the very like first, I think when this raid like just got into the like underworld and stuff.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I I just like approached the Zergs, and they suddenly attacked me, and was like, oh. So
Oh my gosh.
I was not like supposed to get near the Zergs. Okay.
No, no.
And yeah.
I mean, that's one of those things you have to test. Just like you have to test if you got fall damage or if the fire
Yeah.
actually hurts you.
Yeah.
You have to test to see if the weird looking creature is going to eat you or if you can, be friends with it.
True, true. True,
To
true.
be honest with you, I was a little like freaked out by them at first, and I think it's just it got in my head because I'm more so like a helpless character, helpless creature, than a game where I can go in with guns or swords blazing and be like, yeah, take that. So here I'm like, oh my gosh, they give me the heebie-jeebies. And like, then obviously when they hop on the cat, your cat gets slow. And I'm like, no,
The screen turns red.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I
I'll admit
know.
I was a little freaked out in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was actually a bit shocked that they kind of how do I say it? Like they show how the Zergs like kind of eat us out. It was a bit traumatizing because I did not expect that at all, you know.
And then the cat just kind of like falls over, and luckily the screen just turns black after that.
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
Yeah.
we're glad we didn't have to see that.
Mhm.
But but unfortunately you're going into a big old territory full of Zerks and their weird bio web
Yeah.
all over
Yes.
this building.
Like slimy stuff, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes me think, okay, what did us stupid humans create? Some sort of biohazardous thing. So yeah.
I agree.
Yep. So to kind of give you background, because this is where the game starts introducing memories. Well, it introduced memories to B12 kind of in the slums, and they're just little optional things that you can find and scan, and it kind of brings back B12's memories of what was happening in the walled city. The Zerks were created by the humans as a way to dispose trash. They were a bacteria that eventually they would literally eat anything, and they got a little too hungry and they started eating metal, and that's kind of scared the robots. And
Yeah. Can I just say though, I think that's a brilliant kind of backstory because we're currently in a situation, well, we've been for a while, where us humans, wonderful species that we are polluting the earth almost beyond, we're almost at a point of no return. I hate to say it, but we have trash islands in the ocean and we're trying to figure out what to do with all the, because the plastic won't degrade. Yeah, anyway, I'm not going to get in my soapbox, sorry. And I do think that there are fields of science that we're looking at bacteria that can digest plastic. So this is like a very viable thing that we
Yeah.
are trying to do, fix our own mistakes. And like this is your sci-fi horror, what could go
Yeah.
wrong with trying to reverse our own, stupidity. Sorry.
no, it's
I
perfectly
agree.
curable. That the issue I see it with a lot of these sci-fi tropes, when they have these things such as the bacteria that's eating the trash or an AI that's supposed to help humanity, is that they always give it some way to produce itself. And that's where you go wrong, because now the machine will replicate itself, or now the bacteria is going to replicate itself, and there's no way you can contain it because it's got a life of its own now. It doesn't
Mhm.
eat you. Um, so classic sci-fi trope. Hopefully, when AI starts really booming, it doesn't have the ability to create another AI.
This is
Otherwise,
why I'm always nice to my Google Nest. I always say please and thank you.
uh,
Just in case, you know.
Yeah.
just in case, be like, hey, remember, I was one of the nice ones, okay? uh,
Anyway, sorry.
Now, so the cat eventually gets to the top of the tower and plants transceiver, which for some reason it also lights up the tower, even though it's a transceiver. I don't know. It's a cool
Game
little
logic.
cutscene.
Yeah.
Game logic. And then you get to take a bucket ride the entire way back over the city,
I love
which
the
was actually pretty
bucket.
cool.
Yes.
Yeah, the cat just hops into a little bucket and rides the bucket down a zip line. And then you finally get back to the slums again, and you find out that Momo left ahead of you and went to the bar to kind of get equipment ready, because the
Mhm.
bar had better equipment than he did. You get there, and you find you kind of get a transmission, I believe. Yeah, you get a transmission from one of the outsiders named and I'm probably going to butcher this because I don't know if the Z is supposed to be silent, but I think it's Baltaser is his name.
Oh, that's how I imagined it in my head, but that does not mean I'm right. So,
Baltaser. Um, and he's like, oh, hey, yeah, we did manage to get past the sewer, but,
mhm,
it's infested with Zergs, so you're going to have to figure out how to get around them. And we learned that one of the outsiders was actually making a weapon that can combat
yes.
them, but he has since disappeared. But his son's still in town. But his son feels depressed that his father left him,
Mm,
which is interesting because, again, it's a robot. So
yeah.
the robots have emotions, which is,
Yeah. I
nice.
believe it's what the son is it Seamus? That's the
Yeah.
son, and the
Yeah.
dad's name. Yeah,
Seamus or
father's
Seamus.
name is Doc.
Yeah, Seamus. Seamus and Doc. Yep. And so Seamus is like, no, my dad left me. He went off on his crazy idea to test this weapon and he never returned. He was a dumb person. And you managed to find a secret lab inside Seamus's house that revealed like his father's studies, and it kind of gets Seamus back into the mood of like maybe like my dad was onto something. And inside the house was a transceiver, another transceiver, and it's like, hey, my dad used to always like track me with this. Maybe I can reverse engineer it and find out where my dad is. So there's a
Mm.
few little side quests that involve in the city where you do little fetch quests or like a little trading quest line to eventually get a working transceiver.
Which part of it
And
had to do with you're at a laundromat and you had to like spill paint and piss off one of the robots? It was great.
yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, you spilled the paint. You stole the laundry detergent so that you could sell it at the store for wire, which was then knitted into a poncho, which then
Oh,
you
yep.
gave
Mhm.
to the smart guy because he was shaking. Because robots can feel cold now too. So it's a cute little fetch quest, and you get a working transceiver, and so you go into where the last location Doc is, and this is kind of another little puzzly area with Zerks, but it introduces a new mechanic. It gives BlueTwelve the ability to actually fight the Zerks using a ultraviolet light.
Oh,
Yep.
yep. Hmm. Hmm.
hmm But the problem is he can only do it for like 5 seconds before he burns out.
Yep.
And also, this is where you find Doc, who has been trapped over here because of the Zerks. Like he wants to get out, but the generator that was powering his light is broken, and you're the only one fast enough to replace the fuse. Because that's
Yeah,
totally
yeah.
logical to ask a cat to replace a fuse on a generator.
Because, cats would be more than willing to do that for a stranger, let alone understand the ask. But it's okay. It's a video game.
Yep. You would do that for me,
True.
right, Zelda? You would replace
Yeah.
fuses. She's like,
Actually,
shut
you'd
up, I'm
save me.
sleeping.
I
Yeah.
remember like on the Doc's apartment or like where he lives like outside on the sewer.
hmm
There's like Zerks like on the cage.
hmm
It
Hmm.
was so interesting that I tried to kind of like ultraviolet them.
Oh,
It
yeah.
didn't work out.
Can I
It's
say,
interesting.
I really like Doc's design. He's obviously got a lab coat on, he's got the digital face, but he's got goggles. And then if you think like of a mad scientist or even Einstein, they've got like the big wiry hair,
Yeah,
and he
the
has
Doc
that.
Brown hair.
Yeah, he has wires as his hair, and it's just like so he looks like a actual like mad scientist, but in robot form. So he
Yeah, yeah.
stood out as one of like my favorite robot designs.
He did
I
have.
agree. I think like the robots on the slums looks a bit um like they look alike. Like it's kind of hard to like distinct one robot with each
Mhm.
robot, I guess. Like from like their clothes, I guess, or like their behavior. But if you kind of like just looking around at all the robots in the slum, they look so similar to each other.
Hmm.
So dogs really kind of like stood out for me, I guess. So because he got like a bit different design from the rest of the people in the slum, I guess.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that. I'm looking at like cool trivia points just because, Pat, you provided a link to the fandom just in case.
Yep.
Both Doc and Seamus are based visually and behaviorally on Dr. Emmett Brown and Marty McFly from Back to the Future. Makes
You know,
sense because that's
it does make
that's
sense
Makes
because you know what? I
sense.
think Seamus actually has the red vest, if I remember correctly, right?
Oh yeah, Siemens has the red vest.
Yeah, he also had like a fisherman cap, which Marty
Yep.
did not
Yep.
have.
Yeah,
But I thought he had like the red vest that Marty
he
McFly.
does. He does. Yeah.
Uh,
Wow. What a great call out.
hmm
Hmm.
Yeah. Now I think one of my favorite robots was actually Momo in his Hawaiian shirt.
Yes.
He had the Hawaiian shirt and like the lab coat thing going on
Yeah.
with the straw
Screams
hat.
outsider for sure.
Yep. Um, there's some other interesting robots that we're gonna meet here with
Mhm.
interesting fashion tastes. But you and the Doc managed to get back into the slums, and you have a nice little touching reunion with Seamus and Doc. And they hug, and they had little heart emojis, popping up on their face
Mhm.
again. And you then, now with your newfound weapon against the Zerks, you go and you meet Momo in the sewer, who starts rowing a little canoe or a little raft to the main, like, I guess, route to wherever the the other outsiders went. But unfortunately, there's a little snag in the plan.
Ooh.
The
Mhm.
controls are broken, and so Momo has to literally open up the hatch manually. And because of that, he cannot join the cat.
No, I think this is one of our first like farewell to the characters.
Hmm
Yeah, it was heartbreaking. I was like, why don't you just like stick up something in the control and then you go with me now to outside?
Look at that! You're smarter than the robot. No, we need to be like, this is all you, cat. I can only lift it
True.
this high, which is big enough just for you, cat, and I will
True.
find another way. He probably could have lifted it up more, but dramatic effect.
Right.
Got to have a good story here.
Uh,
True.
So
and-
the cat goes into the sewer, which is literally infested with that fleshy, gooey stuff that the Zerks seem to. It's like a byproduct of the Zerks, and it's not just the little gooiness and like veiny threads that are all around the wall. The walls all of a sudden now have eyeballs.
Big
Yeah, it
eyeballs. I
was
would love to know your
terrifying.
guys' thoughts on this because I was creeped out, but I also was like, for me when I went through this level, I was like, is there going to be some sort of either big showdown or a need to get rid of this as a threat? Um,
Same.
Mhm.
but I don't recall encountering this at any point to this degree afterwards.
No, because in all honesty, once you get through the sewers, and there's a moment where um, B12 kind of goes through, like, he has this epiphany, and he kind of freezes up a little bit, and then he regains his sense, and then he overshoots the beam until his weapon until he fries,
Oh
and
yeah, I remember.
yeah, the beam breaks, but gives the cat a chance to grab B12 and just book it from the
Mm.
Zerks. And then you finally get through the sewers, and the doors close, and you don't have to worry about the Zerks anymore. In fact, you're actually done with the Zerks for the rest of the game. The game will move on to a new kind of antagonist here shortly.
Mm.
But first, you're kind of in, like, it's almost like I would consider this an intermission between the first and the second act,
Mm.
where you're in a town called the Ant Village. and it is this long, like it's almost like a giant tree house, with like sewer pipes around.
Mhm.
And this is where you meet Baltazar. But this is also where B12 has one more epiphany, because he sees a container that looked very similar to something in his old office, that he all of a sudden realizes what he is. And who wants to spoil this?
Oh,
Steph,
that's all you. Oh, me?
Oh my
I
god.
want you to spoil this, Steph. You've been wanting to talk about this one.
No, B12 was said scientist that B12 thought that they were trying to carry out the mission. So B12 was said scientist. So there you
Mhm.
go. Dun dun
Yeah.
dun.
That's right.
I honestly
Oh,
think
go ahead.
yeah, it was just my assumption, but I think like B12 supposed to be human and then like kind of transfer their uh like brain or stuff to like a robot, so the robot like has like awareness of stuff around them, and so that's kind of like a bit explaining why he still have like the memories when he was still a human, I guess. But
Yep.
I don't know.
No, the B12 was originally a scientist that was trying to, I guess, figure out how to save humanity, but he
Mhm.
ran out
Yeah.
of time because
Yep.
you
Yep.
find out that humanity was dying off due to a plague.
Hmm.
Um,
Which very relatable at that
Yes, yeah.
time.
especially at this time because the game came out in 2022, like just
Yep.
after COVID, was at its worst.
Exactly.
So
Mhm.
Exactly.
the game obviously was in development far longer than COVID
I
originally
know.
came. So
Mhm.
this was one of those like prophecies that they're like, no, no, we didn't plan this.
Yeah.
Uh,
But it
They
definitely
really
added a layer of
need
complexity. Like now we know what happened to the humans,
mhm,
who B12 really was, and in that kind of last ditch effort, the scientists, uploaded their consciousness into the city network. So,
yeah, yeah,
yep,
yeah.
yep. So he was a little depressed knowing that he might be the only technical last human left.
mm,
Um, but then he breaks out of it after you meet Baltazar. And Baltazar's like, okay, yeah, you just want to keep going up to the mid city, and we can continue to meet my friend Clementine, who is the
Yeah.
last of the four outsiders.
mm,
I
So,
actually really love like the Ant Village arc, I guess, because it feels very relaxing. Like it's a great break of pace, I guess, because like the sewer episode very fast paced, very action, very like chase, always like chased around by the Zergs and stuff. And then like on the Ant Village, I was, oh, I need flowers, like
yep.
red, yellow, and I think white flowers, I guess. And I was just like, oh, this is so relaxing, and it was so interesting to see like the people, not people, robots like living in the like giant tree house, like how they kind of like manage each room, and it shows like their personality and stuff. It was
Hmm.
one of my most favorite part, just because it's relaxing. I can just like explore without having to worry about zerks.
Hmm.
It's very, and
yep.
it's more like it's brighter than the slums. It
Oh
feels
yeah,
like
you almost
you
have
know
natural sunlight hitting the place.
yeah, they have like those stuff, and it was really like kind of lifting up the energy, I guess, because like from the slums it was very depressing, everything was dark and neon and was just like zerks everywhere, and there it was like starting to get brighter, and it's just relaxing, just like pure vibe of people just like living peacefully, robots, sorry,
Hmm.
but yeah.
No, it is one of my favorite areas. I especially loved some of the interactions you can do in this place, such as jumping on the mahjong board
Yes.
Yeah.
and upsetting the robots that were playing the game.
Mhm.
It's like I am programmed to never lose. I lost because a cat jumped on it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Um, so you find you after this like little bit of respite, you go and you meet you get into this like little subway tunnel with a train that hasn't been operational in a while, and you move on into the Midtown.
Mhm.
And this is what really looks like one of those dystopian cyberpunk worlds. Like it is lit bright with all these neon signs. There is tons of robots. The alleyways are crowded and steamy and just like it's full of life, but it's also like that it's also very dystopian. There are these
Mm-hmm.
robots peacekeepers and these like drones that look like flying eyeballs, but like
Mm.
cybernetic eyeballs that is looking to find anyone that's causing any sort of like disturbance.
Okay.
Uh, so it's definitely a change in pace in what the slums used to be.
Yes.
True.
Hmm.
But I honestly think like people in the slums are like more welcome to us. Like they are like very warm towards us. It feels like more comfortable being in the slums, I guess,
Hmm.
rather than in the midtown, I think.
Yeah.
And it really reminds me of Hong Kong,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
the Hong Kong style kind of, like all the buildings and stuff.
Yeah, I feel like Kowloon or is that the walled city? What was that called? Kowloon?
Kowloon. Oh yeah, I know. I don't know how to like
Yeah.
pronounce it, but yeah, I know that one.
Yeah. I feel like that was the inspiration of
Ah,
yeah, Kowloon, the walled city.
Kowloon.
Yeah, that's like the inspiration of
Mm-hmm.
said wall city, which is what the name is in this game. So it's brighter. The people seem less friendlier though.
Mm-hmm.
Even though there seems to be more amenities. So there you see shops lining around. There's bars. There's a bar that you can't get into. Police stations. But eventually you get into Clementine's apartment. You have a little bit of a puzzle to figure out like what these symbols mean on the back of a picture, and it leads you to Clementine's apartment, where she once she realizes that you're not a threat, she sends you on a mission to get the train running, but she needs a battery first. And the only place that has this battery is the waste disposal factory that's nearby. But of course, it's
Mm-hmm.
heavily guarded.
Mhm.
So she sends you off to find this guy named Blazer, who has a uh, who has a bomber jacket, like an Air Force bomber jacket. And you find him, and he's like, "Okay, I need you to steal a work shirt and a hat so that I can disguise myself." And it's fun little mini games that you have to do. Well, not really mini games, but like little puzzly environmental puzzles to be able to
Yeah.
do
Break
things.
security cameras and
Yep.
stuff like that. Yes.
Hmm. And once you get him his stuff, he changes into the worker jacket and hard hat, and he's like, "Get into this box." And so you do what cats do best: they jump into a box, and
Yes.
he carries you into the factory where you now no longer running away from things, but to hide from things.
Mm.
That's where
Mm-hmm.
the gameplay kind of shifts to that the
Yes.
stealth based mechanic.
Mm.
You don't want to
Mm.
get spotted by the sentinels because then they shoot this little laser that, you know, we just assume stuns the kitty and not kills it because that would be mean.
Animal cruelty. Right,
Yep.
Paxel? Yeah.
So you eventually find the battery, you steal the battery, and you run back and try and find Clementine, but Clementine's no longer there. Clementine
Mhm.
is now on the run from the law, but she leaves a clue in her apartment, and that basically reads to "I'm at the club with Blazer." And so now you have to figure out how to get into the nightclub.
Because the bouncer ain't gonna let you in.
Nope. But the
Yep.
cool party guy on the second floor, he's like, "Oh hey, you want to party with us? Come on in." So you eventually you get through an open window, and then you kind of have a few little small puzzles to figure out how to get to the VIP room, which is on the top floor of the club, through the use of annoying DJs and drinks.
Mm.
Once you do that, though, you finally run into Blazer and Clementine, but not in the way you picture them. Turns out, Blazer is a jerk.
True.
Yes, he
I
is.
hate.
Backstabbing SOB.
Yep.
True.
And he's like, "Hey, I care about money more than anything else. So if someone else is going to pay me more for you, that's just how the business rolls." And so you and Clementine get captured and thrown into prison. And then we're in prison. We're in the jail.
The jail. I thought this
Jailbreak.
level was pretty fun. What do you guys think about the jail section?
Same.
It's
Oh.
it has its moments. There are some moments that are good, but it also has some of the longest stretches that if you get caught, it
True.
kicks you back pretty far.
Exactly. Like I think there are like two parts like of the chasing with the robots, the security robots. I when I failed the first time on the second phase, I
Mhm.
didn't expect to start like all over from the very first start, and I was like, this is so punishing. Like for what?
Mhm.
It was
Yeah.
so hard to like finish everything, but the satisfaction feeling when you finally like kind of just do everything, like all the chasing and stealth, it was so relieving, like, oh, finally I'm safe, I guess.
Yep. No, I totally agree with you. That there was something immensely satisfying, especially in the part where you have to lock the sentinels into the cells. Like
Yeah.
it was hard because you had to get the sentinels' attention, and
True, true.
that meant if they hit
Oh,
you, you had to restart it again. But if you did it right,
yep.
you did it
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
Exactly. Especially there were like two sentinels at the same time, and like I need to
Yes.
get the timing
Mhm.
perfect, or else.
There were two sentinels and only one jail to put them in. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah. And we also kind of found out that, what happened to the robots that got sent to this jail. They literally got their memory cleaned, which was almost a fate worse than death for a lot of them. Like they were factory resetted, all memories
True.
completely wiped out.
Yeah. It's pretty disturbing. But of course,
True.
by this point in the game, I was like, developing like compassion and empathy for these things.
Mhm.
Hmm. Yeah.
True, true.
Um, So in this jail, you're unfortunately without B12.
Mhm.
You break out of a cage, you find Clementine, but of course B12 is your communicator. So, that Clementine now has to like point and like explain you need to go grab the key and bring it back to me. And it's kind of a cool way like understand like Stray is literally like doing the impossible and actually responding to directions from someone first of all. I could tell my cat to go get something and she'll just look at me. Hell, I can even be like, "Hey, get on the bed," by patting the bed, and she'll just look at me like, "No,
Well, I
no."
think in that case, she knows what you're saying. She just chooses not to do it.
It's like,
True, true. I mean, my
like,
cat also do that, but when she wants to eat, she gets obedient. Like, come here. They just like come at me, and then when I told them like not to get on the bed and stuff, they'll they know what I'm saying because they want to eat. And after I gave them like the food, they just completely ignored me.
Oh,
So
Aw.
cat.
That's cats for you. Well, in this case, this cat here manages to break out of prison with Clementine and B12. They find B12 and they run out and they get on a Jeep and they drive away and they race all the way to the subway system, even though there's a whole bunch of sentinels chasing. And this is where we unfortunately say goodbye to another one of the characters.
oh, yeah. This was definitely like a heart pumping scene, very emotional. Yeah.
True.
Yep. Clementine is like, listen, our motto is to get outside, but it doesn't matter if all
Matter
of us
who.
get outside or one. At least someone has to do it. So she locks up the gate behind them, behind Strays or the cat, so that she could uh, just kind of direct the sentinels in a different direction. So now we're back to just being Cat and B12. You get the subway train active again, and it brings you to the control room, which seems to be kind of at the very top of the wall complex. And we
Yeah, this
see
is
it's a very, very different place from everything else in the game.
True.
precisely. This is like kind of reaching the climax, so to speak. And I'm trying to recall how I felt the first time I played this way back when, quote unquote. I don't know, part of me held out a little bit of hope, like, oh, if I could open up to the control room, will we see any remaining humans still trying to like, I don't know, because there's always the what if, like, unless there's proof that all humans are gone, then so I was like kind of sitting on the edge of my seat. Like, and again, this isn't like hardcore action game, but this is the part where I really felt like this is the moment of truth. And you're right, Pat, looks very different, very sterile looking environment, a
hmm
controlled environment, like you're in a science experiment. So
hmm And also, the robots don't really have much of a personality up here. They are very
Yeah.
strictly like programmed to do a job, and that's it. They don't have like what we consider being like a human or even remotely AI like qualities.
Mhm. It's just like I think ordinary like worker robots that we also have in real life, like those
huh?
robot who clean stuff. I don't know if you guys have seen the clips of like Heidi Lau robot that goes around like the restaurant to like serve the food.
hmm I
It's
have
very
seen
similar.
those.
Yep. Those like it's with feels very similar like what we are like experiencing in real life. So it was a bit kind of disturbing, not in a bad way. It was like how accurate this is,
hmm
to real life.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yep. So we're in this very sterile, very emotionless room,
Hmm.
and we finally get into the control room, and we learn that um, there's a security system that's kind of protecting the ability to open the gate. And so B12's like, well, if I can hack into these systems, I can get the city open again. And we unlocked the very first one. This is a cool like little mix of like puzzles with B12 like hacking the machine and the cat like scratching at wires to make it hackable. Um,
This is so cute too. Like
yeah,
just crashing out of my way to outside.
yeah, it is. But then we finally hack into the first system, and it kind of like gives B12 an electrical shock. And he's like, "Whoa,
Mm.
whoa, okay, okay, I'm all right, I'm all right. Let's just keep on hacking these things." And it happens again, and he starts spouting like some nonsense, and this is not good. But he goes on with the third one, And after he hacks into the third one, he fries his system to the point that he can't even move anymore.
No.
And he's like, it's all right. All you have to do now is just drop me off on the control panel. And, he explains that after he hacked the first one, he realized that the system was too much for him. But, this was absolutely necessary for him to complete his mission, then open up the city again. So you put B12 on the console. B12 then overrides the system, and he opens up the walled city. And we see this really cool scene where the ceiling starts to open and a beam of light strikes down into the city, and it starts eradicating the Zergs because the Zergs are weak to ultraviolet light, aka the sun. And so we also see little cutscenes of Momo looking out the window and seeing the sun. We see Clementine running away from the Sentinels, but for some reason, I think when B12 override the city, he also overridden the security.
Right, and they just dropped dead.
True.
So, everything, the city was no longer on high alert. The Zergs are being completely eliminated. The robots are finally seeing actual sky, but we also see B12 lying there. And
this is the hardest part.
Yep, the cat decides to, just kind of curl up right next to him while the city opens itself, and it's a touching tribute, and it's something that I think cats are known to do. If they sense something is dying, they like to at least give company to that dying animal.
Haxel, what does this mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's a very sad moment. But then, the city is now open. So you take.
I feel like it's just sad and very, I don't know how to say it. It's mesmerizing scene because it opens really slowly and you can see all the cities, all the sewers, all the midtown from up there. I went there, those are the city that I went on adventures with the B12 and then see the sun finally coming out, but there's no B12. It's sad but amazing feeling. It's so mixed,
very bittersweet.
I like this feeling.
Yeah. No, it's great because now the cat has a chance to get back out there again.
True.
My guess is, given that what the city is mostly inorganic, there probably isn't a whole lot that the cat can actually eat. So
True.
It needs to get back out there into nature once more.
Exactly.
And so that's kind of the final scenes, is that you guide the cat to the blast doors, which open up, and then you climb up the stairs, get kind of hit with that blinding sun, and then the cat turns around and looks at you and then walks away. But as it's walking away, you see a computer program kind of flicker on.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, oh no, not oh no, but maybe B12 uploaded his consciousness into the walled city network.
Mm-hmm.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
So
hopefully.
Yep.
Yeah.
So B12 may not be dead. The cat is finally out of the walled city, but we don't know if the cat has managed to find its cat mates. That could be game number 2.
Could be,
exactly.
Yeah, but that was eventually Stray.
Well done, sir.
So
I mean, yeah. When Stray came out to the outside and just turned around to see to like say goodbye and then left. I was actually sad that I didn't get to see the cat mates again. Like, where are
Yeah.
your friends? Like,
Mhm.
are you going there by yourself? Like, I need to see like what happened with your friends, with your mates in our tutorial
Yeah.
stage. Like, what happened to them? Like, where are they? Like, where's my family? You know?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta assume they moved on. So,
Yeah.
True.
but
Oh, I want
so
to see my cat again.
I do too. Like, I want to see more interactions with like other animals. I want to see like, are there any humans left? Like, as we know, Wall City, there weren't any, but like, it's, I gotta imagine, like, there's gotta be some sparse population still out there somewhere.
Right. And I think the
True.
walled city had a number, so there's probably other walled cities throughout the world.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah,
You're right.
that's
Wall
true.
City 99.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think there is a potential for a sequel. If there is, as much as I'd want one, I don't know. It would be a challenge to ensure that it's a strong sequel. Because just generally speaking, sequels are hard to live up to the expectation of the first game.
Yep.
So
Hmm.
personally, I would love to see it, but it's not going to be an easy task.
Yeah. No, I would definitely, if they did a sequel, I would like to see it more in the outside world,
Yeah.
versus the walled city. And maybe
Mm-hmm.
like see maybe if there's like robot cities like that aren't exactly enclosed or something.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. True, true. I
Or
would also
maybe
like
we
to
can run
see.
into that human. Sorry, go ahead.
No problem. I mean, I think I got a bit of connection problem. So, but yeah, I mean, I want to see like what happened with the robots, like on the underworld, like after the sun, the roof is opening. Like, what happened to them? Are they going outside, or they still live in there, or like just I really want to know what's happening next. Like after we kind of like give them freedom to go outside, or there will be like still security anywhere, like those stuff.
Well, we
Hmm.
at least know of well, two robots that will definitely want to go outside. I can't say for Zalzabar and Doc, but I could definitely see Momo and Clementine both like leaving the
See.
city and exploring.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was such a good game, I think.
Yes.
It was. It's still a beautiful marvel. Just graphically, the game like holds up. Like it just the movements of the cat and the colors and
Mhm.
just the environments. Like it is definitely a current gen game.
Yep.
Uh,
And it would be something, even if I don't have the drive to play from beginning to end, I feel like it would be pretty easy for me to just want to go in and experience the world. The world building's pretty strong.
hmm.
Mm-hmm. True, true.
Yep.
I think I actually missed like a memory from like the sewer episode. And I love that after we finished everything, we can go back to like an episode where we left off, or any
Hmm.
episode, and just kind of like collect anything that
Yep.
we haven't got. Like it's very like rewarding. It's like I don't have to play from the very first
Hmm.
Yeah.
beginning of the game, like to kind of get all the memories and stuff. And yeah, I think one of the best feature, I guess, because I really hate the sewers. Like, ah,
Hmm.
As a person that loves my collectibles in games,
mm,
I appreciate when a game does that. Either
Yeah.
gives you the ability to go back into the world and just collect what you missed, or the ability
yep,
to chapter select and collect what you missed.
yep.
Hmm.
And it still like counts. Like I don't have to go from where I missed and then finish it all the way through until the end. I can just be like, went into some chapters that I left something, and after I got it, I go out and it's still like, recorded like in the save file.
Mm-hmm.
Very player friendly.
Yep.
True.
All right. So that's it, everyone. I want to thank everyone for listening and watching to the Boss Rush Video Game Book Club, part of the Boss Rush Podcast and Boss Rush Network. If you enjoyed our discussion, please subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast application. You can support us over on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Boss Rush Network. Any tier grants you early access to this show. And follow us also on our social media platforms at Boss Rush Network. Lala, thanks again for joining us. Tell us a little bit about,
Yes.
where people
I
can
mean,
find you and what you do.
Yeah.
yeah, so thank you so much, Boss Rush, for having me. So if you want to check like Toge Productions game, we have currently Creekfront Tactics, Whisper Mountain Outbreak, and um, Moses and Plato Last Train to Clawville ongoing. It's not out yet.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if you want to find me, you can find me on Twitter at, oh, it's a bit hard to kind of like say the username, but it's Shahlalala. Maybe Pat can help me.
We'll put in the
Yep.
we'll put in the notes,
Okay.
the podcast notes.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Thank you so much.
Yep. And also,
And
don't.
also,
Yeah, I was going to say,
no,
check out their current stuff that you can constantly find on various stores, whether it be the Steam store or eSwitch, or sorry, the
Yeah.
eShop or the PS Network. They are the current developers of such hot games like Coffee Talk, episodes 1 and 2, and also one of my personal favorites, The Space for the Unbound.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yes,
And the overall
definitely.
Twitter handle too is at Toge Productions. T is in
Yes.
Tom, OGE Productions, at Toge Productions.
Mhm.
Easy to find. So everyone, please check Toge Productions out and maybe wishlist our games on Steam. It will help us a lot. So thank you so much for having me and for the very fun discussion about Stray.
Yep.
This
No,
is
we.
actually, I think, one of my like first podcasts. I do podcasts in Indonesian, but in English, this is my first podcast. So I'm sorry if I had some troubles like explaining things out.
No, your English is great, Lala. Honestly, it's hard to tell that English is like your second language. It's really hard to tell.
How everything came across great. We really appreciated your feedback and thoughts on the game. It was fantastic
so much.
having you here.
Oh, thank you so much. You guys are the best thing ever.
Thank you. All right, guys. This is me, Pat, Klein, Stephanie, and Lala, all signing off. And Paxel and Little Frog Pokemon dude. Oh, it's Peppy. And I would say Zelda, but she's passed out, so I don't want to put her. All right. Have a good night, guys.
Hey.
If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Keel, and Todd Oxtra. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network.